This is Austin Jones with Keller Williams Clear Lake. I'm with Michele Aldrich from Keller
Mhm.
Williams, Thailand. So this beautiful view that you're seeing is the city of Bangkok, Thailand. What time is it right now in Thailand?
It is 8:30 p.m., exactly 12 hours.
Okay, so we're actually 12 hours different. So it's 8:30 a.m. So Michele, how long? You're obviously not from Thailand. Where are you from?
I'm originally from, I'm originally from Kansas, but I like to say Colorado because I always get, oh, that's where Dorothy's from.
Yeah.
Where's Dorothy? I get that every time.
What
So I
part of
say
Colorado are you from?
Colorado.
Did you live?
So I came to in Thailand about this year. Um, so I've been traveling for a year though,
Okay.
overseas, and then I landed in Thailand. Joined Keller Williams back in I want to say March,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it's been good. And right when the pandemic started to happen a little bit, so it's been an experience.
So
But uh-huh.
what is business like in Thailand?
What is business like? Pre-pandemic or post?
Uh, yeah, tell me
um,
a little bit of both.
so a little bit about the real estate here. It's very fast, I would describe it. But there's in Phuket, which is where I primarily sell properties. It's an amazing paradise island, and it's actually 90%. Yes, thanks for pulling that up.
Down here, right?
90% of the condominiums are purchased by foreigners.
Okay.
Um, and so they're interesting because they're just, investment homes for foreigners, and they go from usually a 7 to 10% guaranteed income is what they say for the first 5 years or so. They're hotel managed, meaning that a hotel is going to manage your property, you invest in it, and they will guarantee you a 7 to 10% income return for the property. And then you also get 30 days of approximately 30 to 60 days to stay in your condo. So they're generally beachfront, they're sea properties. I'm happy to show you some while we're on here.
Yeah.
Um, they're very interesting as a diversified uh, income, and just because it's, why not have your vacation home also make you money? So
Right.
passive
So
income. It's very hands off.
so so the hotels are guaranteeing a 7 to 10% return on your
Yes,
investment, including
yes.
a 30 to 60 day uh where you're not making, nobody's renting in there if the owner's staying in there, right?
Say sorry.
So
No, they
it's
rent.
yeah, they
Yes. So
rent them out, but the owner you're saying the owners are reserving 30 to 60 days for themselves, right?
yes,
And they're
yes.
still
That's
making
where
seven
they're
to
very
ten
cool.
percent a year.
Yeah. So they're very. I mean, the owners get all the amenities, and 30 to 60 days a year, and like I said, 7 to 10% is generally where it's at. So yeah, I'm happy to show you one right now,
Yeah,
actually, if you want.
take a look.
Okay. Okay.
So that's Phuket.
Yes. Are you getting sound or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. All right. Sign me up. Dang.
So that's that one. Let me show you another one real quick, and I'll go over what those things kind of mean. What I was putting on the videos.
280,000. How many bedrooms is that for 280,000?
For 280,000, it's usually 1 to 2.
Okay.
Um, and so this one's 7% for 15 years. And so you get 28 days of holiday stay. That's it.
Buyback option.
I'll put that right up.
$93,000.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
This one is a very interesting location because there's so many great beaches, and it's in one of the most popular areas of Phuket.
Yeah.
When you think of Phuket, you think of Patong Beach, and so it's right there.
Palm Beach.
Also got private beaches too. And this is a 1-bedroom. And so that's that one.
Paradise Beach.
Paradise Beach. It's one of the newer developments. It's a large one. It's about 1,000-unit condominium. And when a couple points that, can you see me now? Or,
Yes.
okay. So what
you.
I was, say what?
I see you.
Okay. So what I was saying with the Paradise Beach, it's 1,000-unit condominium, and it's so close to all of the best beaches. That specific developer offers 7% for 15 years and 28 days a year. And so I'll share my screen again and see if I can pull up the more details for it. But what I was saying was with the foreign freehold, that means that you can own it 100% in your name. Because in Thailand, the biggest issue you have as a foreigner to purchase property is owning the land.
The land.
And that's why, if you're going to purchase anything in Thailand, you have to think about, okay, how much does it matter that I own it in my name, which usually it does.
Yeah.
And so condominiums are the only thing that a foreigner can own 100% outright. And they do it so that the condominiums are split so that 50% is, 49% is foreigner freehold, and the 51% is Thai owned. And because Thai owners usually are in Phuket, it's usually all foreigners, the hotels use that 51% Thai as hotel rooms.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's how it kind of works out here. And the other thing I think you saw in the Paradise Beach video too is another good term to know is buyback guarantee. Mm-hmm. So saying that, let's say after they have it after 10 years, they're saying if you don't want your property anymore and you want to sell it, we will buy it back from you at full price. And so that they're trying to mitigate any risk that you might feel, which is I'm going to give you 7% for 15 years, and I'm also going to guarantee that I'll buy it back from you.
So what are how are the values of these condos inflating over 15 years? So if I buy a condo for 90,000, go ahead.
Sorry. So they've been steadily going up since, it's just the land price rises, and, land is the biggest, concern here. There's not very much of it. So, it continues to go up, and these are seafront properties. So the more that, there's less land, so there's scarcity for it. But let me pull up the specs on this real quick. So this is about the hotel. they call it a condominium with a hotel license, is what it is. And so it's 1,152 minutes, and it's only 300 meters to Paradise Beach. And they start at 93K USD, which is awesome. And the developer is one of the, the top developers in, Phuket. So they've got multiple different developers. So they're very experienced. They're one of the more like trustworthy brands and things like that. So they're close to everything. And let's see, what else can I show you? So you can see that this is 7% for 15 years. And let me pull up another property to show you another example of the different offers. So I'll show you this one. Okay, so this is Sunshine Beach. This is this is at Lion Beach. Yes, this is Sunshine Beach. And so this is a different developer, and you can see that it has a different offer. So 7% guarantee for 5 years is what it's giving. And then after 5 years, you'll go into a 70-30 rental pool, meaning that you get 70% and the developer gets 30, the hotel gets 30% of the rental pool. So all the owners come together and they take all the rents from over the year, and then they disperse it.
Okay.
And then 30% will go back to the hotel, 70% will go to the owners. And then this property is offering 115% buyback guarantee after 5 years.
Wow.
So they are saying that not only will we guarantee a 7% return for 5 years, we'll also buy it back if you don't want it after 5 years for a better price than what you bought it for.
Wow.
And they're also offering up to 30 days of annual holiday stay. So this is one of the really good offers. It's in a very good location. Well, it's in a more of a developing location, but it's right smack on the beach. When you think of a beachfront, it's a beachfront. And
That's
so
awesome.
it's got a ton of amenities, and it's very near to the airport, which is very advantageous for anybody who's coming for a conference or just wants to, be as close to the beach as possible. And then there's an amazing golf course up at that point too.
What is the price range for the condos at Lane Beach?
So this one is starting at 125K for a studio. So the studios though, 27 square meters. So those are pretty small, but you can stack them together. But there's a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, up to 3 bedrooms in this one too.
Okay. What would for a 3 bedroom, about how much would an investor?
I'd have to check. I haven't looked at that sheet in a little bit. So
it starts at about 125 though.
It's at least double.
Okay. Michelle, can you tell us a little bit about like financing options? So if an investor is wanting to make a move to Thailand,
Sure.
Will traditional financing work? Are there alternative?
Yeah. So for the most part, there's not financing. For the most part, there's one option if you do have employment out in Thailand. There's one option where they'll take, you can get up to 50% loan for the property. But for the most part, there's not any financing. And what you do is you put about 5 to 10K down for a property. And then they'll do it in phases. These are off-plan properties that I'm showing you, of course.
Okay.
But they'll do it in phases as the construction progresses. But for anything else, it's pretty much cash.
So most investors, foreign investors, are paying cash.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Because Thailand doesn't really. That's why it's pretty safe to do investments here. Well, for the most part, because it's not in a bubble. We're not. It's very just cash centric for foreigners.
So these condos are being managed by the hotel, and the hotel.
Right, international hotel brands. We're talking, Wyndham,
Okay.
Marriott, Ramada, Best
Right.
Western Plus. So
Okay.
most of them are hotel managed unless they're like local experienced.
Are they maintaining a consistency between the units, or are the units different? Like,
Good question. Yeah, great question. So a lot of them come with their furniture packages that you purchase with. It depends on the developer.
okay.
So most of them will say it comes in furnished, and this is what it is because they want to keep the consistency with the hotel.
Right.
But there are a few developments that you can, either furnish yourself or purchase different types of furniture packages, depending on standard to luxury, whatever it is. But for the most part, I would say that they do come furnished, or you have to purchase the furniture package.
So are there variations in price between the units? How is the price for
Yeah.
a night stay? How is that determined?
Sorry, what was that last part?
How is the pricing determined?
Okay, so the pricing is determined mostly by your view and in a development. So the development is that the question?
Right. So, I mean, I guess what I'm asking, are all the units in the, that are all the one bedroom units, for instance, are they the same? Are they priced the same? Does the hotel set the price, or does the owner set the price per stay?
Mhm. So the developer will set the price, and then what happens is the developer is going to pre-sell their units, and then the hotel brand comes in later to take it over and to
Okay.
manage it, unless they
Okay.
have an arrangement where it's kind of all together.
So all
Um,
the marketing for the units, that's through the hotel. It's not like an Airbnb
yes.
or.
Exactly. There's not, you don't really want to do Airbnb out here. And, that's why it's so, so cool to,
Yeah.
to purchase the unit and then it be completely passive and hands off. And I just go and I want 30 days of holiday stay.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Well, that's very interesting. So you buy a unit and you just let the hotel manage it. The hotel will.
They do everything, the maintenance, the marketing, the booking. I mean, they replace anything.
Okay.
It's completely hands off.
What are some unique challenges that investors face that you've seen?
Yes. So a lot of the challenges that they face is that first you need to decide on, you're going to pay a little bit more for foreign or freehold. So you're going to pay a little bit more because it's in your name, it's your property, as opposed to leasehold. And some people have, like, well, I'm just planning on kind of flipping this. And so should I do leasehold? Should I do freehold? So that would be the one thing. And then it's also, some foreigners aren't sure if, do I want to get a villa? And that's what I was talking to you about, is that you can't buy a villa 100% in foreign or freehold. They
Right.
do it in two separate contracts. One is for the land, which you'll never be able to own. And then the separate contract is for the property, which is you own it. But the problem is that you don't own the land underneath it.
So,
So
so with the
you have to,
typical lease for the land, what are the typical terms? Is that like a couple years at a time, or is it like 20 years?
sure. So the lease goes in 30-year increments. So
Okay.
your first lease is guaranteed for the first 30 years, and you have two available 30-year extensions after that is how it's set up. So 30 years, and then I get another one for 30 years, 30 years. And then I can even pass it down to anyone. And even if my kin, for instance, if I had a brother or a son or whatever, I would then transfer the lease to him. And then it would go another 30 years, 30 years, 30 years
Okay.
and save it.
That
So
makes
it
sense.
could continue to stay in the family. Yeah. Hmm.
So is it a pretty comfortable decision to lease land for 30 years at a time? Is
It
that something
depends.
different?
It depends. I mean, it's a risk. it's a risk. And, if you're investing in Thailand, you have to know it's a risk,
Okay. So
that's
the risk
just,
is that the government can
it's
take that.
not for, what's that?
The risk is the government can just at any time break that lease.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's the truth. And I mean, it's not in Thailand's interest to do that. And they've done a really good job through all their condominium acts to protect foreigners because they want foreigners to invest here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it feels that, the Thailand government does take care of the foreigners pretty well in their investments. So it does feel that way.
Well, very awesome. I think we have a lot of people interested in that area,
Yeah.
Michelle, and you are my number one contact in the East. And
Oh,
so I
thank
will
you. Well,
definitely
you're not
be
in
sending you
Houston.
some clients. Who knows? Maybe that in the next few years we might buy something also.
Well, cool. Well, let me know how else if I can send you some more information or
Yeah,
what else you need from me. So,
absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to it. Well, anything
okay.
else that you feel needs to be added, or you think we missed anything, or we hit all the big points?
I think we hit all the big points. And I think, we'll see if there's any more questions. And I'm happy to hop on another one with you and kind of see if
Cool.
there's any Q&As we go over or something like that.
Yeah,
So, 'cause
absolutely.
it's a lot, it's like,
Yeah,
okay, wait, what?
yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, I
So,
appreciate it, Michelle. Thank you so much for your time.
yeah, thanks for having me. See you next time.